I'm going to show you what mods I have been using. This is for patch 7 for the PC. I do not know if these mods will make it to console. Now, personally, the mods that I prefer are ones that improve kind of the quality of life. I'm going to go through all of my mods on the details page so we can see a bit of information, and I will show you in-game as well. The improved UI just generally improves the UI. It's sometimes hard to see all of the different things that have been changed, but it does make for a slightly better experience. Origin dialogue tags, just as it shows here, actually tells you if a particular option is because of your origin. And I like this because even after playing the game for hundreds, thousands of hours, I still don't always know if there's a particular dialogue option that is for a specific origin. Better target info gives us extra information at the top, so I can see this woodwode is resistant to piercing and bludgeoning damage and vulnerable to fire damage without having to examine the woodwode or press T. It saves time, and I just like seeing this information at a glance. This one is named Better Inventory UI, and you can see here just small changes. Some of the colors become a bit more obvious. There are tiny symbols telling you what things are. If you don't know what something is just by looking at it, you can tell. It just helps you sort through your bag and other things much more easily. Better containers. I must say that the author here, Kites, has made a lot of the mods that I have found. Better containers. We can see here some examples. The grid is larger for the containers and does tell us the value of what's inside the container, which can be useful at a glance. Longstrider AoE, I love this. It turns Longstrider into an area of effect spell, and that's the only thing it changes about Longstrider. If I've got a character with Longstrider, it saves me 15, 20, 30 seconds perhaps every time I have a long rest. It kind of adds up, but for me it's just, I've got a Longstrider AoE. So we can see here Gale's about to cast it. I'll show you in game anyway. And it just gets everyone in your party. New loading screens replaces the original 13 loading screens with 60, just to add a bit of variety in the game. And linked to that, better hints on the loading screens. This doesn't look like it's loading itself, but better hints gives extra different hints on the loading screens. Again, just to make things a little bit different, a little bit more interesting. Better tooltips. I love this mostly for the spell tooltips because it adds in what school the spells are on a particular scroll or just for using a spell. So useful if you don't already know, it's kind of highlighted. And secondly, the concentration element is there in the vanilla, but here it's just a different color. It stands out a little bit better. Now, a lot of the information added, I probably don't need. Like here, Cyanide. It says uncommon in the vanilla. In modded, uncommon melee weapon. But they can affect some things. Certain items only affect, let's say, melee weapons. You can see if something's supposed to be gloves, whether it's a grenade or a potion, and whether they're like vanity boots. I don't generally need this, but it's still nice to have that information. Better character and party panel. A bit like with the containers, it just increases the grid size. The notable features here have been made smaller so you can see them pretty much without having to scroll. Sometimes you might have to scroll a bit, but it's not so bad. We get extra information when we have like the spell book open. And this next one, better top bar. This is the vanilla. This is what the top bar usually looks like. This is what it is with the modded version. They're a bit smaller, but we do get some extra information. We do get the armor class here. And the concentration icons are smaller, so you might have to look a bit closer, but it helps with the big fights. The main thing I like is the armor class, so I don't, again, have to go and look at each individual character. If I want to know the armor class, I can just look at the top. Better hotbar too. We've got more icons we can fit on at one time, because one thing I have found when I get lots of items that have abilities and just lots of items in general, I have to move these bars across to see everything in one go. I know I've got the tabs at the bottom, but it is so much more useful if I can see everything all at once. Better various widgets. As Kate says here, it's pretty much 5 small things put together. So the tadpole power screen has been upgraded, modded. So now we can actually see what the locked abilities do. When we get a reward, it just looks a bit nicer. Same thing when we are combining things. And something I love is the reaction box here does not overlap with the hotbar, because there are times where there are spells that require a spell slot to cast as a reaction, and if this is covering this, I have to move it every time I want to try and have a look at how many spell slots do I have left. Do I want to cast shield now? Do I want to cast hellish rebuke? I don't know. I've got to move this box to see what spell slots I've got left. So I am very happy to see this moved up just that tiny bit, and a larger grid for camp supplies. It's a few small things all put together, and then we come back round to the beginning. So we'll jump in game, show you what the changes really kind of look like. But before I do that, I do just want to say there are so many mods available. Personally, I've just gone for quality of life mods. I don't want to make the game any more difficult, any easier yet. I have read that some of these mods that add classes are very overpowered, like very strong. I know it's a single player game, but I want to play a mod where I can use all of its power and still be satisfied. I've considered adding the starting armor one, for example, so we can have a starting armor selection. Won't make a big difference for the whole game, but it's just kind of nice. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything feats. There's a bag of holding feat again, thinking about it, so I don't have to worry about weight anymore. I've played the game enough that it's just some of these things do get a bit tiresome. So for example, this background is new from this loading screen, and the hint here is different. Tyr is a god of lore, so on, so on, and so on, to let you know a bit more about the background of the game, the lore of the game. So here we are, and you might notice immediately from one of the mods, this hotbar is now super wide. I've got so many spaces here, I can see every single item that Gale has currently got. Same thing for Astarion, and Lae'zel, and although Shadowheart's picked up a lot of crap and she's getting the tadpole powers. So even with this mod, I can't quite fit everything on there, but that's okay. I'm still much happier than I was before. If I open up the inventory, we can see I've got, again, a larger grid. Some of these background colors are a bit more visible. You can see here, for example, the smoke powder bomb has got this little grenade symbol there. It seems obvious, but it's still nice to have. If I come to here, I barely have to scroll down to see the tags at the bottom. Scroll down a tiny bit to see all of the skills and so on. When I come to the character sheet, Shadowheart's got the most because she's just got so many different abilities from the item she's currently wearing. In the spellbook, we basically see all the class features now added, which is very lovely to have. Whereas Longstrider, everyone's got Longstrider currently, but boom, done. Love it. And so now, for example, actually, what I can do with maybe not all my characters, but most, is reduce the height of the hotbar at the bottom. Now I've got my cursor over Shovel. We can see all of the buffs that he's got. We can see his health, which was actually is already there. We can see his resistances as well, his level. It's kind of got a cool little portrait there. And it's all the same information I'd get apart from the exact ability scores as opening up the screen. I am missing armor class right now, but that's because I'm not in combat. So I've just killed the cursed Kurotoa out here. We'll come inside this crevice, this cave. We'll get into a fight just to show you what it looks like when I'm fighting. Alright, well, Lae'zel is dying down there. I can now see if I attack this fetid ooze that Astarion's attacks will be fine. They're not resisting them. Nice and easy. We get this reaction, and okay, Astarion isn't going to use any spell slots as I mentioned earlier, but it's nice and clear. So I can see these oozes are resistant to slashing damage. She's currently got a great sword on, which does slashing damage. So maybe I want to go for the hollow armor instead. Although its armor class is 21, 44% chance to hit it. I can make an informed decision, turn off Great Weapon Master, so I've got a good chance to hit it. We can also see that the buffs, the icons for the buffs, are now on the left of the hotbar instead of above the portrait, which leaves space above here. I quite like the positioning of this. So Shadowheart's a light cleric, and which means she's got fireball, and I can see these guys aren't resistant to fireball. I think it might be a good choice. I might even throw down the level 4 fireball to help things out a bit further. Alright, that's really helped things along. So I want to cast Confusion. Concentration word is now orange, makes it stand out that little bit better. And it tells me it's an enchantment spell. So let's have a go. Gale's got a good chance of making this work. There we are. Some very confused oozes and shadow. I don't think I want my fetid ooze not to be hit. Let's not react. Even cragged rocks have a symbol now, like a ladder. And they're just going to hit each other. Fine by me. Thank you, Gale. Anyway, that's a quick look at my mods. Pretty happy with them at the moment. Let's get a bit closer here, shall we? Is she going to finish it all off? Not quite. There's one with 21 hit points left. There we are. So you let me know what mods you like. Do you like adding in the mods that change the hairstyles, that have extra faces, change the dyeing, whether you love all the extra classes, get rid of weight? You let me know. But thank you for watching to the members of my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.